Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 8 of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Food City 500 here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and as you can tell, this is old school Bristol. We're talking early 90s Bristol, not the modern day Bristol, in which not a whole lot happens, but beside the point, we are at Bristol nonetheless. First time, and I have no idea how long, I believe probably since Season 1 of the old Walmart Cup Series days, that we've decided to give Bristol a try. But we'll see how the racing turns out. I have a feeling we could be in for something special here. But before we get into everything, here is a recap of the point standings after our last race at Toronto. Zachary Fitzwater still the points leader as he leads by 15 points over our pole sitter for today, Jessica Shelton. And speaking of the pole, here's a look at the starting lineup for the race today as, yes, Jessica Shelton gets her first pole of the season. Starting next to her is our winner from Toronto, Jessie Turner. Can Jessie Turner go 2 in a row? We'll see what happens as you continue to look through the lineup. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Food City 500 at Bristol.
Drivers, start your engines.
All 40 drivers rolling around the world's fastest half mile for a quick pace lap before we get everything underway. Pace car in the pit road, so ladies and gentlemen, boogity boogity boogity, let's go racing at Thunder Valley. Jessica Shelton got to lead the first lap, so that's another bonus point towards her hunt for the championship right now, as Zachary Fitzwater was last scored 9th, but I saw him back there stuck on the outside line, so he's probably going to end up losing more positions because, yeah, you do not want to be stuck on the outside line here at Bristol. You want to get to the inside to go for a pass. Speaking of passing, new second place driver Dylan Young, as he takes the spot away from Cole Deaver. Now, does Dylan Young have something here in the beginning of this race for Jessica Shelton? As Shelton's actually pulled away to probably more than a half a second lead over second place. Actually now almost a full second as they continue to race it out, but the caution is out. Looks like an incident involving Chris Dollarton, Michael Norman, and Joey Parkhill. So something has gone wrong between those three drivers to where the caution has come out here at Thunder Valley, as everybody stopped up trying to get back into their spots at the moment they crossed the start-finish line to take the caution. But Jessica Shelton has led the first 5 laps so far in this race. Let's quickly take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Bristol. Well, it looks like right here, Rafael Leduc's trying to make a pass on Joey Parkhill, but then just slips back up the track and into Joey Parkhill, and that causes Parkhill to come down into Chris Dollarton, and then they both go for a slide, and Parkhill spins off the front end of his wife, Melissa Alexander, and they both actually hit the inside wall pretty hard to the point where they went airborne as a result. There's a hit from Michael Norman. Somehow, some way, Joshua Sakuli barely gets by without getting any damage. But just watch the 38 and the 28 right here. They both hit the inside concrete wall so hard that they end up popping up the racetrack. as a result. Parkhill especially, about 3 or maybe all 4 of his wheels were up off the ground. And then Michael Norman sees everything happening, and then right there he hits his teammate Chris Dollerton into that whole ordeal. So 4 cars ended up with some pretty big time damage, although we'll see if any of them is going to retire from the race or not. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Bristol. Well, no drivers retired out of the race after that incident, so all 40 drivers still on track, although you got 3 cars a lap down. But they're not going to be restarting up here towards the front. They're going to restart probably towards the back. But the top 10 when we get back to racing, Jessica Sheldon is your race leader still. Second, Dylan Young. Third is Ricky Carman. Fourth is Henry Sanford. Fifth, Cole Deaver. Sixth is Jake Rogers. Seventh, Dylan Jacobs. Eighth, Raphael Fireblade. Ninth, Alyssa Drayson. 10th, Jordan Forbes. And yes, just as I thought, the lap cars are in the very back of the field, so that's a good thing for the leaders. Green flag is back out. We got 51 laps to go, still some time, and we may have a lead change, our first one of the day. Jessica Sheldon gets way up the track and leaving room for Dylan Young to make a pass on the inside. Can he make it stick? No, he doesn't. Jessica Sheldon just must have a strong car regardless of what line it is, but here comes Dylan Young again. This time he has a much better run in turns 3 and 4 and actually does beat out Sheldon for the lead at the line at least. But we got new drivers starting to try and put their name into the hat for battling for the lead right now. Ricky Carman in the 51 and Henry Sanford in the 09 as he's trying to pass his teammate Jessica Sheldon for the 3rd position. And the only driver missing from S3 Motorsports in this whole ordeal is Charles Sanford, and I have no idea where he is on track, as Jessica Sheldon might actually lose another spot as Jake Rogers in the 87's trying to get around the 02 for what would be the 4th position, but Sheldon's going to hold her ground for the time being. As back up at the front, Dylan Young leads, but look at Ricky Carman in the 51. Rookie out of Horseman Racing, representing the Horseman podcast here on this channel. As Ricky, I don't know if he's just waiting to make the pass or he's just playing mind games with Dylan Young a little bit, but he probably should try to make the move because you got Henry Sanford in 3rd, and he's got a pretty solid race car as he's up here in the top 3. Now you gotta wonder about pit stops, considering I have the pit frequency set to 3 times, or 3x I should say. You gotta wonder, with a 60 lap event here at Bristol, when would these drivers have to come to pit road? If they can pit past lap 30, then it's just a one-stop race, so they wouldn't have to worry about fuel mileage or anything like that. But you never know. Sometimes this game likes to be crazy. Dylan Young trying to hold off the 51 of Ricky Carman, but Ricky's just still keeping pace with Dylan Young, but just hasn't been able to make the pass yet. And speaking of passes, Jessica Sheldon trying to rally back up through the field as she's now back up to 3rd and makes the pass on her teammate Henry Sanford, moving Sheldon back up to 3rd. Ricky Carman still just right there on the back bumper of Dylan Young. Last lap, however, it looked like Dylan Young was faster, but now this time Ricky Carman was faster, but man, he got tight in the middle of 1 and 2 and ends up slipping up the racetrack and lost a little bit of ground. Not a very good lap for the 51, that's for sure. Little cluster of cars from 5th on back as Jake Rogers has the position for now, but he got 3 cars right behind him trying to get up there. Raphael Fireblade in the 52 trying to make a move of sorts, or trying to hold off Matt McIntyre in the 14, who actually has got a short track win this season at Oswego. Granted, it was a dirt track, but still. trying to use a little bit of what he learned from that win at Oswego to apply it to Bristol. Then again, Bristol is completely different from Oswego, not only because of it being asphalt instead of dirt, but look at the banking that this track has. It's the reason why this track's considered a great bull ring track, because it's breakneck speed on a short track. And you don't really use the brakes. You primarily use mostly the throttle and off-throttle time. And Matt McIntyre got a little bit tight in 3 and 4, giving that position over to Carson Gum. That would be right there. That's for the 6th position on track. Right behind him, Matt McIntyre trying to hold off Rafael Fireblade, but Fireblade's going to possibly... Well, he doesn't clear him off of turn 4. He's probably going to have to wait till turn 2 to clear him. And he does clear him. And then right behind this, you got another cluster of cars from 9th on back, Cole Baker. Now, Cole Baker, so far here in Season 7, has just not gotten off to a very good start. In fact, he has the worst average finish of anyone so far this season at a 30.57. Right now, he's having a very good bright spot day, running up here in the 9th position as we're right around the halfway point of the race. Let's get back up to the front, and we do have a new leader. Ricky Carmen in the 51 finally made the pass on Dylan Young and is now leading here at Thunder Valley. Looks like it'll still be a little while before the leaders end up dealing with lap traffic, as we are now halfway through the Food City 500. So yes, it does look like a guaranteed one-stop race for everybody in terms of fuel, so no worries about a fuel mileage race. Joey Parkhill, it looks like despite the damage he has, it looks like he's still maintaining pace. Too bad he's a lap down. Meanwhile, it looks like Melissa Alexander, Chris Dollerton, and Michael Norman are slightly off the pace after that caution. But yeah, apart from some areas of the track, it's pretty much spread out to a single-file race, although you do have some battles going on. Like right here, this looks like for the 13th position, Rob Evans just could not make that corner work, and Charles Sanford ends up taking over the position. Well, Cole Baker's starting to slip back a little bit, and look at Ryan Acosta in the 10. Ryan Acosta, he actually comes into this race 18th in points, so he's had an okay start to his rookie season here in the Marvel Studios Cup Series, but did lose a couple of spots in the points after Toronto this past week. But having a pretty decent run going right now in the 10th position, but he is the second highest, or third highest running rookie on track. And there's the second highest, Jesse Turner, who won back at Toronto. And then the highest, actually no, that's the third highest. Then the second highest is Henry Sanford, with Ricky Carmen still being the highest running rookie currently. And Carson Gum, there's something up with that 19 to where he's just gaining position after spot, or spot after spot, and now is up to third. And actually it was faster than Ricky Carmen that previous lap, so we might have to watch out for Carson Gum. Maybe he might have something for these leaders, as meanwhile Ricky Carmen has caught lap traffic as he's approaching Chris Dollerton, who's already a lap down. Same with Michael Norman, but Melissa Alexander is tail end of the lead lap. So you gotta wonder now, with the 51 having to put up with slower cars, you gotta wonder if that's going to help Dylan Young and Carson Gum catch up to the 51 or not. Dollerton's gonna go up high to let the 51 go, although Dylan Young elects to come to pit road. In fact, a couple of drivers coming in, so green flag pit stops are underway here at Bristol, the one and only time you're gonna see these drivers on pit road. Looks like Ricky Carmen's going to come in, but sacrifice the lead over to Carson Gum in the 19. Carson Gum slowing down, almost got into Rob Evans as he comes into pit road on the backstretch. So he's going to have an interesting pit stop considering he's pitting on the back straightaway, whereas, say, for Dylan Young, Jessica Sheldon and company, they're pitting on the front stretch. Oh, but I think we might have a caution as I see Chris Dollarton, and he gets slammed by Hannah Klein. Yeah, definitely a caution going to come out, and that's going to really shake up the field. I saw it for a glimpse. Chris Dollarton looked like he hit head-on into the pit wall back here on the backstretch, and then Hannah Klein, it looked like she was trying to get to pit road, but just did not see the 83 at the last second, just slammed him hard. And it looked like I even see some damage on Julia Katrine's car, as everybody's kind of trying to figure out where they are on track, but it looks like Carson Gum actually got the race lead as a result, so that caution was pretty good for him to be able to keep the spot. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the second time today here at Bristol. Well, here's a look at what happened. So Chris Dollarton was still on the racetrack and was getting ready to come into pit road. As you can tell, he's starting to slow down, and then he starts to pull down to the apron to get ready to get into the pit road on the backstretch. But Raphael Fireblade is coming out of the pits, and they just don't see each other, and they make contact as Fireblade tries to get back on the track. Dollarton trying to get into pit road, but just came in at a bad angle and hit head-on into the edge of that pit wall, and there's the engine smoke. Now, this is where bad timing really came into being a factor. Watch as the 31 of Hannah Klein, as she'll come into frame here in any time. There she is in the 31. Chris Dollarton's going to get hit right there, just barely by the 31, and then just a second later, Dollarton teleports to pit road. So if he had teleported a little bit sooner, the 31 of Hannah Klein would have been okay, but because of just bad timing, Hannah Klein's day is very much over, as you can see the engine smoke coming out of her car. And Cole Deaver did a great job of not running over the 31 and keeping his car clean, but tough break for the 31, who almost missed it, but just bad timing as far as the teleporting goes. But let's go ahead and take you to what could potentially be our final restart here at Bristol. Well, after that caution, yeah, just as I expected, two cars are completely done for today, and that's Chris Dollarton and Hannah Klein, as they will not be getting points as a result of finishing bottom 5. It'll be 13 laps to go when we get back to racing. Carson Gum is your leader. Second is Dylan Young. Third is Jessica Sheldon. Fourth, Matt McIntyre. Fifth, Ricky Carmen. Sixth is Caleb Kilburn. Seventh, Jake Rogers. Eighth, James Shelley. Ninth, Jesse Turner. 10th, Julia Katrine. And the green flag is back out. 13 laps to go here at Thunder Valley. Carson Gum was the lucky man as a result of that caution, because he was in the pits already as the leader, and because of the caution coming out, it helped him keep that spot. Dylan Young, on the other hand, who has, I believe, led the most laps so far today, he might still have something for the 19, but he's got a lap car of Cole Deaver right on his tail, as Deaver's trying to get his lap back, but he's got to pass two cars in order to make that happen. And he's actually might have a run going into turn 3, and he's got to run underneath Dylan Young, which is definitely what Carson Gum wanted, so that way he can pull away to a bigger lead now. 10 laps to go here at Bristol, and the laps just wind down here at Bristol, so basically 10 laps is like nothing here at this track. And Dylan Young actually lost second place. Jessica Sheldon now up to second. And in theory, this is going to be a great points day for Jessica Sheldon, considering she's second. And according to scoring, Zachary Fitzwater was in 30th, so she might take the points lead over going into our next race, which will be a special surprise, since it'll be on Christmas Day. It's going to be a surprise race. We don't know what track it's going to be. 7 laps to go at Bristol, and Carson Gum, all he's got to do is just stay on the racetrack and not make any major mistakes, and he's got this win in the bag. Although he's got a hungry Cole Deaver right behind him who's trying to get his lap back. And then further ways away, battle about to rage on for second. Jessica Shelton has the spot, but Ricky Carman wants it. And he's got the run on the bottom and is going to make the pass. But doesn't have Shelton quite cleared yet. Now he's got her cleared. Meanwhile, Carson Gum continues to extend that lead, and Carson actually comes into this race 11th in points, so this will be great to put him back into the top, or put him into the top 10 in points, I should say, as the laps continue to wind down here at Bristol. Caleb Kilburn actually moving up to third. Jessica Shelton actually losing a ton of ground. Kind of like what happened during the onset of the race, where she just lost several spots by being stuck on the outside line. 2 to go here at the line. Carson Gum, basically he's got this in the bag as long as he can keep his car on the racetrack and not make any major mistakes or hope nothing happens, and then he'll have this win. And the white flag is out here at Bristol. Cole Deaver's still trying to reel him in to get his lap back, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Coming out of turn 2. Now into 3 and 4, and it looks like nobody's going to stop him. Checkered flag waving. Carson Gum wins the Food City 500 at Bristol. Timely caution when Carson was in pit road. He was the leader and got to keep the lead as a result, and that surely benefited him into getting this victory. And also thanks to the lap car of Cole Deaver being kind of used as a pick, Carson Gum managed to keep the win, and this is going to really help him out in the point standings, no doubt about it. But let's take a look at the rest of the results. Ricky Carman, who was a front runner pretty much the entire race, gets a second place run and was the highest finishing rookie in the race, so that'll be huge in the Rookie of the Year standings. Caleb Kilburn with a solid performance in third. We didn't really talk about him all race long, and he ends up getting a great run in third, and that will really help him out in the point standings as well. Dylan Young with a great run in the fourth position, who may have arguably been the dominant car of the race. And Julia Katrine, who despite having some right side damage, gets a top 5 in the 5th position. Jessica Shelton, who will more likely take the points lead over, finishes in the 6th spot. Jesse Turner with a great follow-up finish to that win at Toronto, finishing in 7th. Jordan Forbes with a great run in 8th. He definitely needed that. Same for James Shelley in 9th, and for Jake Rogers in 10th. Then there's the rest of your top 20, your top 30. And then the bottom 5 for this week were Melissa Alexander, Joey Parkhill, Michael Norman, Chris Dollerton, and Hannah Klein. So tough break for all 5 of them. As you see, Carson Gum doing his victory burnout. Thank you guys so much for watching the Food City 500 at Bristol. Next race will be on Christmas Day, but we don't know what track it's going to be, so you'll have to stick around for that. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Christmas Day. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.